Welcome back to American Agenda. Some breaking news now. President Trump is responding to reports that New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio plans to install a Black Lives Matter mural in front of Trump Tower. The president tweeted, quote, told that Bill de Blasio wants to paint the fabled and beautiful Fifth Ave right in front of Trump Tower / Tiffany with a big yellow Black Lives Matter sign. Pigs in a blanket fry 'em like bacon, referring to killing police, is their chant. NYC police are furious.
And he also responding to the leader of the Black Lives Matter movement here in New York, who says, and he quotes that leader who states, if U.S. doesn't give us what we want, then we will burn down the system and replace it. This is treason, sedition, insurrection. That part, of course, from the president. Now, while we've seen some, this is a show, some positive signs of the recovery in the economy, many Americans are continuing to file for unemployment benefits. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, weekly unemployment claims for the past week were just under 1.5 million, continuing a downward trend, as you can see in this graph. And the change from last week, only a decrease of 2%. Is it the new normal for unemployment? To weigh in, let's welcome our A-plus panel for the hour, former director of the SEC Division of Investment Management, Norm Champ, and editor-in-chief of HerMoney.com, Kathryn Tuggle. Kathryn, your initial response?
Well, it is the 12th straight week of decline for unemployment claims, which we have to keep in mind. And according to a study this week, 78% of small businesses that are going to reopen have reopened. So I think that, you know, unemployment claims are continuing to go down. Small businesses are reopening. So in my mind, it's positive. It's obviously not ideal, but we are seeing a trajectory that I think we want to see.
Norm, I know that some companies are hiring. I mean, we hear a lot about, Target hiring, but the job creation for what we're seeing is a lot of like the lower minimum wage. So what about the folks that maybe are marketing or graphic design? Are those the ones that are going to struggle to find work?
I'm afraid that it is extending out to those populations. And if you notice, we are in a decline, although somewhat flattening. But also now we're starting to see some of these big companies that are laying off large amounts of people. Those are the higher paying jobs, higher benefit jobs. And yes, the postings that are out there, the companies that are hiring tend to be much more entry level and less benefits. So we are seeing a bit of a trade down on these jobs. Now, any job's a job. And so it's encouraging that we are seeing hiring, but you're also seeing it ripple a little bit into the higher end jobs.
Kathryn, a lot of self-employed people, they weren't necessarily able to get money or not as much as bigger companies got, and then they are not getting those extra checks to be unemployed. They're not really employed, so they don't get unemployment insurance. How have you kept an eye on that? Because I feel bad for those folks especially.
Yeah, we've heard a lot from freelancers, a lot from people who are participants in the gig economy who are struggling during this time. A lot of them have continued to pick up more side gigs that may have come into the market as theirs went away. For example, Instacart, CVS, those jobs that are hourly jobs but still able to help them pay the bills.
Norm, we hear about a possible another stimulus package. That could be a check. It could be another form. Is that going to help us? I mean, because it seems like that's just a quick fix. People are still going to be looking for jobs.
I'm afraid so. And we're seeing, if there was at least momentarily some unity in Washington around some of these stimulus ideas, we're seeing a bit of a return to the acrimony that we've all gotten used to, and it's not clear to me what kind of stimulus bill comes out of the Congress and whether that'll be acceptable to the president. It's also, to your point, not clear exactly how these things would help at this moment. It just prolonging it. We've got to figure out a way to get business back on its feet. I would suggest that's more in the realm of, some maybe tax credits or cuts or something. We've got to look at the business side and try to get those businesses back on their feet. There was a disturbing statistic this week about the number of businesses that are closed on various online, if you go online and search for businesses, there are a lot of businesses out there that are closed, and we've got to get those businesses back in order to get people.
Yeah, I think on Yelp there were 400,000 that still show closed. Catherine, but got about half a minute. Is there any danger in the stock market being so out of whack with where the economy itself is?
It's a great question. Nobody seems to know what the market is doing these days. It's up, it's down, and it doesn't really seem to be following a pattern, particularly if you look back to 2008 and we saw, you could kind of make sense of what the markets were doing during that recession, and this one is a little harder to predict. I think anytime we see a bigger company like an IBM announcing more layoffs, I think that's going to make Wall Street a little nervous. So I think those are the big indicators we have to watch out for.
All right. Catherine Tuggle and Nirem Champ, thank you so much for your insight and joining us today. We really appreciate it. And coming up, we'll be back with more American Agenda after this.